Shareholders, welcome back to another weekly edition of the Saturday Sendout from the Simple Side. And I cannot wait to tell all 275,000 of you, yes, that's how many subscribers we're up to, 275,000, what I see happening in the markets for the next week. Of course, you'll see the title of this email is Insider Buys 100 million worth of this airline stock plus a major energy opportunity. Also, you can check out contrarian bets we have for GLP-1 companies that are set to make fortunes. All right, let's talk quick about our upcoming newsletters. We have a paid subscriber giveaway that's going to be coming up. I think we're going to do this in December and try to give somebody a little Christmas gift. Then I'm going to be talking about another contrarian bet with a 24% annualized upside. This is going to be a big one. I've already released one of these earlier in the week for paying subscribers, and I think the performance so far has been pretty well. And then we're going to talk about founding member profit sharing. So I would recommend getting in on the founding member subscription level sooner rather than later, because at some point I'm going to start profit sharing with these people. I'm going to allocate a certain percentage of my revenue to go back to the people that bought into me with large amounts of money early on. And I want to make this valuable for those of you that believed in me early on. And so I want to do that as a thank you. All right. Let's talk about the weekly recap. Of course, this section tracks buy opportunities that I saw last week. And so what this is last Sunday, I sent out a newsletter that said, I think these stocks are going to perform well this week. And then this is a recording of how well all of that has performed. I treat every stock as a 1 week only investment and then track them as such. So if you're on the newsletter, which if you're not, you should go there now, thesimpleside.substack.com, and you'll find this email again titled Insider Buys 100 million worth of this airline stock, etc. So you can find that there. And so what we do is we treat everything that we report on in this newsletter as a 1 week only investment, and then we track ourselves weekly against the S&P 500 or the SPY that you can buy in the stock market. And I'm not saying that you should copy this newsletter one for one. I'm not even saying that you should buy what I'm saying to buy. I'm saying I see these opportunities in the market. Remember, this is at your own risk. Now, if you are on the newsletter, you can go and see our average S&P 500 outperformance, this week's outperformance, historical returns, and also the stocks that we had posted about in last week's newsletter, as well as the returns that they had over this past week. And so what we had this week was a beating of the market. We crushed the market this week by 3.51%. We smoked the market this week. 3.51% in a week is crazy. And over the past 11 weeks, we've beat the market by 11.75%. That's our return over the past 11 weeks, 11.75%. So the market averages, depending on who you ask, between 8 to 12%. And we've, in 11 weeks, returned 11.75% just based on these weekly buys that we've been doing. Annualized, that puts us at an expected return of 55.55%. Now, this value will fluctuate, but as the weeks go on, it'll start to kind of normalize at a certain level. But beating the market by 55% is ridiculous, and I am super, super excited for that to happen. And I'm still trying to break this trend. If you're looking at the newsletter, I'm trying to break this trend of having 2 weeks of market beating, then losing to the market, then 2 weeks of market beating, then losing to the market. And it's kind of a hilarious pattern, but we're going to try to break that this week, and I think we're going to be able to. All right, and then if you're looking at the newsletter as well, we have, which you should go look at it. It should be in your email inbox, and if you haven't subscribed, you need to go subscribe, thesimpleside.substack.com. All of this information that I'm sending right now and that I'm talking about is free. You can get all this for free in the newsletter. It'll come out every weekend, and then you'll also get emails about contrarian bets and what have you. So we've got another graph here that shows the growth of a $10,000 investment starting July 20th of 2024, which is when I started sending out this specific newsletter. And so over that 11-week period, the SPY, which is the S&P 500 tracking index, returned 2.05%. Over that same 11-week period, I have returned 11.75% with everything that you've seen in these newsletters that's been tracked every week. That means annualized, that puts the S&P 500 at 9.7%, and it puts me at, like I said, 55.55%. That is awesome. So just remember that everything that I'm doing has been completely transparent. You can see all of the previous week's posts. You can see everything in those previous letters. and I am the only 100% transparent finance newsletter that is beating the market every single week. And you can join 275,000 others by clicking the button that is right here in the newsletter if you're following along. All right, let's jump into politician trading reports and the politician ETFs. So I track two ETFs, NANC and KRUZ, which both track politician trading, Republican and Democrat trading in the market. So NANC is Democrat tracking, and it returned 0% this week. It was even, but over the past month, it's up 4.81%, and year-to-date it is up 23.15%. Now, KRUZ is Republican tracking. It's down 0.12% this week, but up 4.18% over the past month and 14.23% year-to-date. And what's fueling those returns? Well, over the past 30 days, we've only seen 6 politicians making 67 trades and moving $1.35 million in the market. But what's the most interesting part? Well, Democrat Josh Gottheimer was selling everything in sight and has easily been one of the most active traders over the past month and over the past week as well. You'll see an image of his monthly trading chart that shows all of the sells that he's been making, all of the buys that he's been making relative to the change in price of the S&P 500, and there's a lot of orange on this chart. But during his masquerade of selling, he did, however, make a major purchase of PayPal. Now, this is a stock I've been looking at for the past couple of weeks. People think that this company is really going to make a comeback, and I can't seem to find a reason to disagree with them. I do think they're well positioned, but I just don't have full conviction in the growth opportunity, and so I'm not ranking it as a buy, a watch, or a sell for now. But it's definitely something that you should go and do your own research on and look at possibly buying. There's definitely the possibility for good returns there. I don't know if I have a prediction on the stock's price. Let me put this into my model real quick. PYPL, I think is the ticker. PYPL. Yes, it is. All right, let's go there real quick. I have the stock price forecast at a 2.67% upside over the next year. And that's just average ranking. And so we'll see. I mean, I definitely think it could perform better than that. But like I said, I can't rate it due to the fact that I just don't see a massive upside here. And then you can see below, I'm not going to read out the politician trades today. Go check the newsletter out for those. But most of them are from Josh Gottheimer. And then there's one sell from Republican Michael McCall in Texas. So, all right, let's talk about insider trading, though, which has been super interesting this week. I track the ticker SURE, S-U-R-E, which tracks insider trading and also stock buybacks. And this week it's up 1.45%. Over the month, 4.37%. And year-to-date, 14.79%. But we had a really interesting buyer this week, which has been the same interesting buyer that we've had for multiple weeks now. It's a family office in Mexico, the family office for, I believe, the richest man in Mexico, Control and Precio de Capitales. And why is this interesting? Well, they have been buying PBF Energy, ticker PBF, for months now. We've had the stock listed as a buy opportunity before, and I'm going to maintain the same sentiment for this upcoming week. Sentiment, whatever. PBF is definitely a buy opportunity, I think. And here's a little quick analysis. Go check out the newsletter, thesimpleside.substack.com. You can go see this newsletter right there. Go check this out and look at this quick little analysis that we've got. We've got a financial strength rating of 8 out of 10, and the company is performing mediocrely relative to the industry, but versus their past performance, they're crushing. They're doing very, very well. We've got a value rank of 9 out of 10. So go look at that too. I mean, on basically every value metric, they're way, way ahead of the industry, and they're performing better than their history as well. The only thing that's a little scary here is that we've seen a reduction in revenue over the past 2 years, since about 2022, peaked in early 2022. We've seen revenue come down a little bit. It's starting to stabilize now, but it still has been down. And so that's a little bit scary. But we've also seen them pay down crazy amounts of debt. In 2021, they were sitting at something like $5 billion in debt, I believe. And now they're sitting around $2 billion in debt. So that's a huge difference. Our average price target over the next year is 14% upside, but I think that's going to be a lot higher. Our high estimate puts the stock price at $51, and our low puts the stock price at $25. Average, 14.08% return. But go and check this stock out. I've got a little bit more information about it. Overall, I've rated the stock a 70 out of 100. So we definitely need to see some better performance in terms of revenue and free cash flow. But definitely an interesting stock, and I think I'm going to have this stock as a buy for the next week. I think there's a good opportunity there. However, there is another massive, massive buy. We had someone buy $100 million worth of Southwest Airlines, $100 million worth. And I think this buy is coming off of the news that Spirit Airlines is looking at bankruptcy. And so buying Southwest Airlines is such a massive bet that Spirit Airlines is going to have just a negative performance in the market, and that Southwest is going to be able to capitalize as the next kind of lower tier, lower cost level airline. I think it was really interesting that buy. The stock is trading close to its 52-week high, or on the higher side of its 52-week range. Definitely something to look at. I think I have this listed as a watch opportunity for paying subscribers later on. So if you're listening to the podcast, quick little insight. I think this is a watch opportunity for this next week. And a watch opportunity to me is something that I think you could buy, but I think there's a little bit more risk involved in that. When one airline stock is dropping, there's a good chance that some of the other ones are going to follow suit. And so I just don't know how I feel about that. Let's move into executive trading. This week we had a total growth of ownership in companies for the top 5 reported by 87%. And the COB of Armor Residential had the largest ownership increase this week with a 71% change. And if you're thinking of investing in ARR, or Armor Residential REIT, as well, I would be careful. My models put the upside of the stock at 3.74%, which is nothing crazy. However, the company is paying a 17% dividend, which is interesting to look at. But that being said, the stock is down 88% from its high 10 years ago. And so I think chasing that 17% dividend yield is scary, and it clearly is an underperforming strategy. That being said, with a 71% increase in ownership from the COB, there might be a chance that things jump up a little bit, but I'm not interested in taking that risk. Now you can go look at the top gainers for this week and the top losers for this week. Let me know what you think about those. I'm not going to read them out. I've already been talking a whole bunch this week, so I'll let you guys go and check those out on your own. But I would like to say I do think you need to go and check out the mergers and acquisitions for this week, the top investment ideas for the upcoming week, and the upcoming contrarian bets, as well as earnings price volatility. Earnings price volatility is where we set possible options trades up for, stocks that are going to have earnings coming up, and of course makes it more volatile. But just know that information like this that's contained below for paying subscribers, worth hundreds a month. I pay crazy amounts of money to be able to access all this information, and I give it all back to you guys for $200 annually, which is less than what I'm paying a month. So go and check this out. And what we've got down there today is insights into 2 current contrarian bets with possible upsides of 24 and 322%. And we've got 2 other stocks to make money on over the next week and a lot more. So go and check that out. Go and check the newsletter out. Go subscribe, thesimpleside.substack.com, and we look forward to hearing from you more in the future.